Hey everyone, hi guys, how's it going? Today I wanted to chat to you. This is pretty spontaneous, but most of my videos are. Today I'm going to chat to you about age gaps in connection, and this was stemmed from a comment that I read this morning on someone's post somewhere, and this person was struggling, and she was the older part of her, the older half of her connection, like I am, and I really felt like I could help this woman. And so Spirit said to me, you can help this woman. And I said, yeah, I know I can. And then I thought, you know what, I can do a video on this to help anyone out there, because I don't think there is, and I think if you're in an age gap connection and you're watching this, I don't think there is a person out there in an age gap connection whose ego mind hasn't kind of steered them away from it, or questioned it, at least, at some point. And for me, there was a lot of questioning about, I just couldn't get my ego out of, so there wasn't questioning about the love or the connection or who he was to me or who we were to each other or anything like that. It was because I knew that 100%, 1,000,000%, that he was the person for me, like that he was my divine counterpart here, my twin flame, my twin soul, soul flame, whatever name you want to give it. I knew he was the person that I was here to do life with. And but my ego mind, it's, how can I explain this? And I'm just going to, I feel, first, before I get into this, I feel I can really share a lot of experience because he and I have been on this path together for a long time. He is the younger version of us in human age, but in all other way and soul experience, he's the older, more wise version of us. And I laugh at that because I'm like, I don't know how wise I am. No, I know I carry a lot of wisdom. We both do, but I laugh at it because I haven't always used, I've allowed my ego to override so many things, whereas he never used to. And then in the later years, he did. Because why? Because I was, and that's in the energy that I was putting out. And so he took on that as well, because that's how it works. So anyway, but getting back to what I was going to say, so I really feel I can help you guys. So stay on this and listen to me, or you can switch off if you don't want to. But I really have some great nuggets of wisdom on this topic because we have been on this beautiful journey that has been showed us so many different things for a long time. And so, and some of the things I was reading about people that in age gaps over this journey time, over the years, are all kind of the same. So I realized I hadn't really done a video on this on its own to help people. So here I am. So, and I'm going to share a lot of experiences. My spirit's always told me since I was a young girl that the best things to write about or talk about are the things that you have been through yourself and experienced. And that's how I do my writing. That's where I come from, my heart and my experience. And sometimes I'm more vulnerable than others. So sometimes you'll get more of the in-depth story and other times you won't, just being honest. So this time I feel that there's probably more deeper insight that I want to share with those that are on age gap connections. First of all, though, let me just say that when you are in this soul connected union, the human age doesn't matter. You have chosen to come with that age gap. And I always knew it was a strength. Our age gap made us stronger. Our age gap was a strength for us to share with the world through our love. Our age gap, I feel, and I know people go through other things with their person, like culture, religion, all that sort of stuff. But I felt that because the way the world or at least the Western world, have perceived relationships and ages, that it's, you know, it's more not the done thing, right? So I felt that we were really to bring a stance in equality, that love does not have no boundaries, that love is not conditional, love is unconditional. So to say that you can only be with somebody because they're X age, you know, whatever, is conditional. And when we look at everything else in our life around love, we've put so many conditions on it. So I knew from the moment that we started this journey together in this physical life, and I say that because I remember him traveling with me in spirit form. And if you have not heard about my book Flying Without Wings, I talk about it. It's what my whole book's about, how I knew that he was with me and I traveled with him in spirit form on the journey before he showed up in the physical body. So I knew I didn't have, and I kind of always knew that he was coming, someone was coming. And so when he showed up and we had spent the first time together and he left, I left to go home, back to his house. I sat on my bed and I remember Spirit saying to me that we are here to show love, to show a deeper unconditional love into this world. And I'm like, how so? And they said, your age gap is a big factor to show people how love truly works, how true love really works, and connection, and that it has no boundaries and that you're not restricted by human age. It's from the soul. Okay, so from the soul level, he is older than me in that he's had more experience and incarnations, and he's very wise. And I could see all that come through in him when I met him, despite our age gap, our difference, despite his age, whatever. I felt that he was more wiser than me, and that's why it was intimidating to me, because I could feel it, right? So I felt quite intimidated by it, because I'm like, whoa, hang on, like, and my ego was in the you're older, so shouldn't you know more? And that was a big mirror to me, because I'm like, because that showed me that I was in also the Western world limiting beliefs, sort of society beliefs of this is how it works. And I'm like, wow, like this guy is younger than me, and you know, like I'm talking 2 decades younger than me, and he's wiser than me. Like, wow, like this is crazy shit, you know. Because we're always taught to believe that the older you get, the wiser you get, the more experience you have, rah-de, all the bullshit. And that's what it just is. It's bullshit. Because if you look at it now, when I look at his age now, if you look at a lot of the light workers on, like, that have huge followings or just known, just out there, on YouTube, on, you know, social media, wherever, if you look at a lot of the light beings that are doing the extensive outspoken work on the planet at the moment to raise the frequency and vibration of consciousness of the collective, it's all around his age or younger. I mean, I see some my age doing it, but to be honest, if I'm really sitting here thinking about it, I thought about this morning, so many of them are his age and younger. So I really truly believe it's not my generation that's going to help bring the world, bring freedom and peace to this world and bring us into the unconditional love and unity that it is. It's going to be the younger generations, and then even younger now with these beautiful diamond star seed kids coming in. So I mean, us ones that are part of the 144,000 and the sort of the star seeds leading this mission, yeah, like us and the older ones, we kind of, there are some of us filtered through my age that are bringing this through as well. But there's so many in their 20s and 30s, right? So anyway, but back then we're sort of in this little box and we don't see it like that. And I feel he was trying to tell me that in his own way, as like, don't give a shit about it, you know, don't give a shit about what people think, don't give a shit about this, blah, blah, blah. But my ego self just wasn't receiving it like that. I just couldn't get my head around it. And I think if we had sat down and talked about it more, and he had have really like talked to me about it more deeply, and not being worried about maybe hurting my feelings, is to say, hey, Kelly, come on, Cal, look at this, look at that, you know, then like, you know the connection, but he didn't. And I guess in hindsight, people would say, well, it's up to us to do our own inner work, which it is, and do all that. But I always feel that the real authentic divine connection couples that are here to really bring this light and love onto the planet and show a different love, I also feel that you will know, like we know exactly who we are, which, you know, which is who is our person, basically. And that's when your mission will unfold. You'll know what you've chosen to do when you come here. So getting back to, if you're in one of these connections and you're letting your ego entrap you, which I might add, my ego was what was keeping us out of union, because of all these narratives running through my head of why. And one of the most important things that I didn't realize until later, that if your friends or family or people around you are saying things against it, negative, like, oh, you can't be with someone with an age difference like that, someone so younger, someone so older, whatever, you know, whatever the case they're saying, we tend to, and I did it, we tend to blame them and say, hey, you're a block to my union, like, you know, get the fuck out of my life type thing, you know, you're a block to my union. And we tend to blame our friends, and we think, oh, I want to, you know, get away from that person because they keep saying it. Mind you, before we get to this point, often we believe them, right? And we start to doubt. However, nobody can put doubt in your mind if it's not already there. So when you're in your ego of your own fears of why you're running from the connection, like I was, and why you're not allowing it to just unfold as God, divine, source, universe allowed, and your soul knew by coming in, and what you've chosen. When you choose to not lead from that energy, and you're choosing to lead from your ego energy, you know, and all your fears and limiting beliefs, and what will people think, and oh my God, what are they going to say, and you know, will they judge me, and blah blah blah. When you've got all that going on in your head, you're not even connected. You're completely disconnected from yourself, from your soul, from even thinking about what, like I had my spirit in one ear going, you know, yeah, but you know you're here for this. This is what you chose, like, and you felt it, and we even told you right from the start. But then my ego was going, yeah, no, I don't want to listen to that, because I don't want to be judged. So for me, that brought up a lot of, because I had a lot of wounding still from being judged from a child, severely, from when I tried to stay on my spiritual path as a young person and shine my light and kind of disagree with the narrative. And I really got judged a lot for it. I'm a weird kid, like she's weird, like she's crazy, what's wrong with her, like she's just on her own, like she's out there, like she's some kind of alien, like she doesn't fit in, right? So I copped so much judgment that I carried that on. I didn't heal myself, and I carried that through all those little stories that from those people's judgment created, you know, I created in my head. However, it comes back to what we allow, how connected we are to ourselves, to our spirit, to know that, hey, we are the real deal. We're on this path. We know what we're here for. We're actually a leader. So why are we listening to the followers? Like, why, you know, don't say that as a judgment, but we are here to lead others. So if we get caught up in their narrative, well, then we're not here to do the job we came to do, you know? So there was a lot going on around it. And I think that this happened. Well, I see this happen for a lot of people in age gaps, particularly like women that are older too in the age gap. We have other things going through our heads. One of them for me was that, okay, I'm just gonna, I'll share this story. He was, and stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you how to, if you're thinking what's the point of all this, I'm going to help you to show you how to release this. And it took me a long time. It really did. And I don't know why it did, really, because I always knew we were meant to be together, and I knew we were here to do this. And I wanted him to tell me that as well. Like, I wanted him to admit it and tell me that. And because he wasn't admitting that, he, after a few years, you know, he started running after I was already running from it. And I guess he thought, look, I don't even know what we're doing here. Like, what is this? Maybe I've got all this wrong because she's not thinking it's going to happen, or she's not with me on the same page here, or whatever. I don't know, really don't know what he thought, but through those times. But after a few years, when I kind of said, okay, let's do this, he said no. And then he started running from it. So, but the thing is, I feel that all along it was really because the divine feminine energy leads, and we are the magnetic energy, right? So it's for us to get our shit together and get out of those fears and doubts, and worries, or what other people think, and all of that, before we can attract this higher love. So we're both, you're in a sense of like, you know, it's right, you know, we're meant to be together, you know, but hang on, what's happening? There's this like block in between what's going on. And it's because that, and it's, I'm going to say the feminine, really, like it's the feminine's responsibility, because she leads in the energy, in the feminine energy for union. And then once the masculine comes in, and it's you know, you're in union together and balanced, and that, then he can lead. But and I know everyone maybe has their own, I pause them because I know there's a lot of different stories about how people see that. That's how I know my union is. Okay, I know that once we're balanced together, I know he's meant to lead, not me. And I think that was part, or I know that was the part of the whole reason that was blocking us, is because I thought age, because I was older, that I was meant to lead. You know, I had the experience, so am I meant to be leading? And hey, I don't want, and I always felt something wrong with me leading. Like, it never, when I say wrong, there's no right or wrong, but it's whether it's aligned or not. And I always felt that it wasn't aligned for me to lead. But yet what I didn't understand back then is that it's aligned for me to drop all my fears and just allow and accept this connection as unconditional, and not put a whole pile of conditions on it about, hey, you know, why do we have this age gap, and like, why this and why that, and blah, blah, blah. And so, and like I was saying, if you have the doubt, you'll attract that in your friends and family and those around you. And I had a lot of people around me saying, you know, at the time, like, oh, don't be stupid, that can't happen, you guys can't be together, he's too young, you're too old, blah, blah, blah. It just went on. So, but at the time I believed it, and I put doubt, because there was already fear and doubt there. How would this work? You know, not even how it would work. That's wrong. I shouldn't say that. It's not how it would work. I knew how it was, because I could feel that it was going to work amazing. I could feel that we were to work together in this. It was more like him showing me the mirror of all of my stuff I hadn't faced, you know, and that's why I was making that an excuse to say, oh, how's this going to work, right? And we do that. The ego will make excuses, excuse after excuse. Humans make excuses about everything, why they don't take the leap and do things, right? But it was excuse after excuse after excuse. And there was even a point where he said to me, like, he never swore in front of me or to me or anything. And he said to me one day, like, who gives a fuck what people think? And that's when I really thought, whoa, okay, this doesn't seem to bother you like it bothers me, you know. And that was early on in the connection. But when you've got somebody, like, I just couldn't shift myself out of that. And I tried, and I just couldn't shift myself out. Sorry, excuse the phone calls. So, but the thing I was going to say, the story, well, the situation, what was it now I was going to say before, and I got sidetracked with the rest of the stuff. Yeah. And Spirit's like, oh, here we come. Because that dropped straight back in to remind me what I was talking about. So for me, he was not only so beautiful inside, and I could feel his love, his heart. I could feel how much of a beautiful person he was, that he was also stunning outside. So his whole, like his looks, his appearance, his charisma, his, you know, the mystery about him, just the, you know, his body, everything was just amazing. Like, it was just, yeah, it was, obviously it's going to be attractive to me because he's mine, like my person, and we've signed up to do this together. And but he also is really popular with other women, with girls, and because he was this stunner, you know, and he was a beautiful person, and he had a lot of girls chasing him. So I think I always say it's so hard for me. You've got the age gap to begin with, to kind of understand and process and work through. And then if your person is really, really, you know, good looking, and he's got all the girls following him and everything like that, he's got that charisma, and you can see that happening in the physical world, whatever you have not faced within yourself, whatever insecurities you have, oh my God, it like multiplies it and brings it to the surface 10 times, 100 times. So for me, you know, until he showed up, I never had any judgment or opinion or anything around age to me. Everything was about equality, right? In everything, whether it's age, religion, color, race, whatever. I never treated anybody differently, and I never had an opinion about any of it. In fact, I'll give you this quick little example. When my daughter was 15 years old, she came out and said to me, Mum, don't be surprised if I come home with somebody and marry someone a lot older than me, because I just feel that that's my path. And she's very spiritually aligned and connected, and what her path was. And she said, and I just am not attracted to younger guys or people my age. So I said, okay. And that was pretty random, but I didn't even flinch. I'm like, whatever, as long as you're happy, honey, it doesn't bother me. Like, whatever floats your boat, whatever makes you happy. And so I did not have any thing around age at all. But when it happened to me, it showed all my insecurities. And so looking at him going around with these other girls, younger women and girls his age or younger than him, I immediately, showed me the mirror of how I felt about myself, you know, looking at wrinkles in the mirror. Do I look old? Like, is my body in shape? Like, all these things that I'd never thought about, because I always felt young. And I always felt that I was pretty, you know, attractive for my age. And like, I just didn't, I don't know, I didn't feel that I looked in the mirror and I looked at any cellulite or anything like that. But when he came into my life, and I'm like, oh my God, even though I knew that he would love me regardless, right? Because that's who we are. We've come here together to do the attraction is just so undeniable. The connection, well, with us it is, it's so incredibly undeniable and magnetic, and you can see I'm struggling to put it into the words, because there are no human words, you know, of how I was feeling and how the connection is between us. So, and if you're in one of these real connections, you'll know what I mean. So even though I kind of felt that and knew that, why should I, you know what I mean? It didn't make sense that I should think, well, he's not going to be attractive to me, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, or I need to whatever. But it did. It raised all my insecurities, and what it really was, it was stuff that was there from even being a child, when I was picked on and bullied and made fun of and judged and everything for trying to be my true self and my real self, my spiritual self. So there was a whole lot of other stuff, and I won't get into that went on for years, of the inner work I did, and because you all know on this path that they trigger that and what happens. And they show the mirror. But for me, I felt like it was like 10 times or 100 times exposed as much, because he was younger than me, and he was good looking, and he had all these girls that wanted his attention. And, you know, he's that type of guy that can go out and just get a girl whenever he wants to. And what do they say? He has a lot of suitors or whatever, you know. He's he could just do whatever. And so that to me felt like, but it shouldn't have been. I felt like my ego was telling me, hey, you're going to have to fight for him. Hey, you're going to have to get yourself together. Hey, you know, my ego is saying all this, but my heart is saying, no, it's the real you. It's the real you that he loves. It's the real you that is you two together. Do you know what I mean? But when you're clearing out, and you need to clear out and do this inner work, and I must say, until he came along, I wasn't doing any inner work. I wasn't clearing out any shadow work. I wasn't looking at any of that. I was still very much in my masculine energy, and I was leading from that. You know, I was a single divorced mother, trying with a mortgage and working as well, 3 jobs, and trying to keep it all together. And you got to be in your masculine energy a lot for that, right? Well, maybe you don't have to, but I thought I did back then. So I kind of, you know, I was trying to be a free spirit, you know, but at the same time, like, I'd go out and have fun and all that and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was really bogged down in my head with these responsibilities. So I think there's a lot of little nuggets of wisdom in there. There's many other things I could share, but when you are in this situation, what I learned is you just really have to let go of it all, right? So the thing that finally got me through all this is that to know you need to come back to yourself, obviously through more inner work, but you need to really get to that point of absolutely knowing and not having your ego go into denial or doubt about this. Absolutely remembering. It's not even really remembering who you are, because I remembered who we were, but at a deeper level, I guess, it's just giving it up, but stepping it in, because a lot of people say giving it up, and people say, how can you do that? For me, it was more trusting in our higher self, our higher guidance, our higher spirit, trusting in the divine and universe, and going, oh my God, we came for this. Why is our ego in the way? Like, we're here on Earth, in this Earth suit at this time, doing this galactic mission on planet Earth, in a huge way of actually, like, through our love, right? And why I say through our love is because it doesn't mean we have to be out there, and I've always said this, a huge mission doesn't mean you've got to be out on stage with millions of people or anything like that. It's the love that you bring together. And so when you can let go of the other narratives and the ego trying to control and run the show, and when you can just give it up, because it's also letting go of the attachment of fear of not being together, right? All right. Yeah, you guys know what I mean, because a lot of people in these connections, they're in fear that we're going to come together, going to come to union, blah, blah, blah. So when you let go, because you realize, oh my God, it's inevitable. Your soul, you're here for this together. And when you move through the levels of all the talk about it on social media and YouTube, all the talk where people say things like, oh, well, we're not really meant to because it's just meant to show us the mirror. Those people are still going through the inner work. Oh, we're not really, this is how it's meant to be. That's because they're still blocking their union because of the fears they have. I never really ever said that because I always knew that our spirit would find a way because we're supposed to, and that our head needed to get out of the way, so we needed to get into the heart. And if you haven't watched the last video I did on the day challenge, day one, whatever it was a challenge one, day one, about spending 24 hours out of your head and into your heart, go watch it and do it. And actually, I think I'm still in my 24 hours while I'm doing this video. So how ironic is that? So the best advice I can really give you is to just stop yourself with all those talk and narratives in your head. This is an unconditional love. There is none. It doesn't matter what age you are in the physical. It doesn't matter who they're with, who you're with, what's going on. It does not matter. It is meant to be. It is destined. It is destined. It is predestined. You came to do this together, and it doesn't matter whether you're a different race, age, color, religion, whatever, culture, whatever. You came for the reason that makes you stronger. An age gap makes you stronger because people wouldn't expect it. It makes you stronger because they can go, wow, look at that. Like, that's not usual. That's not the usual. These are the normal people that don't go outside of the box. This is not the usual, but look how their love is. Look how strong that is. Like, that is divine love. That shit over there is divine love. That shit here is divine love. That shit over there is divine. That's not shit, but you know what I mean. That is beautiful, divine love. Remember, these connections, we're here to bring God's love to this earth, to show divine love. Whether you say God, creator, source, divine, whatever terminology you use, just label, right? They're just labels. It's spirit. It's your spirit. Beyond the physical plane, there is love, unconditional, nothing but unconditional love. There's no judgment. And we live in a world full of judgment, right? So it's understandable that you're going to go into a place of thinking, oh, people are going to judge me. So over the years, there's a lot of different things I found on my path that I'd released, but then something else would show up to show me it from a different angle, to see that I hadn't released that fear around the judgment or whatever. And then there was just a whole other stuff that I didn't realize I was in, old traditions or programs that obviously had been handed down through me from generations. And I didn't really have an awareness that I was in it until it would get pointed out to me. And I must say my family were actually pretty good, that they weren't a family that judged it or like judged our connection in the age gap. They were surprised, but they didn't, they were like, okay, it was for me, and obviously everyone's going to be different, you're going to be different, but for me it was friends, it was all my outside family members that judged it. But again, it comes back to us. If we are not judging our own experience and our own connection to somebody else and that love, if we're not judging that, then nobody else will, because you can only attract that frequency, right? That's in everything. So remember that you can only attract the frequency that you're already in. So if you have fears around something, doubts around something, whatever it is, you will attract everyone around you to doubt that too, right? Because they're going to just agree with you. They can feel it in your energy. It's very different when you approach something and go, oh my God, this is magical. I know it 1,000,000%. We're meant to be together. We're here to do this union of got this full-blown now understanding of it, blah, 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 right? Your friends, they may not understand it, but they're just going to go, wow, okay, she kind of knows what she's doing. And you're going to be teaching them. But if you kind of walk in and go, oh, well, you know, I've met this person and they're my one, and oh, but geez, you know, we've got this age gap and blah. Soon as you start with that lower frequency, and they can feel in the energy the doubt that you've got about it yourself, and your friends and people around and family, it's like this instant reflex that they've got to protect you, right? So they don't understand they're doing it, and they don't mean to take you off path, but then they'll start to judge it too, you know, because they just want, you know, if they love you, they want you. I know that sometimes that's even understandable if their friends do love you, but anyway, that's a whole other story. But if they love you, because they won't think twice about putting themselves first about whatever they want, and they'll just discard you like a wet mop, right? And they do. So they might be over here judging you about a whole situation that you are judging yourself about too, right? But the minute someone comes their way, whether it's a partner or something else happens, okay, see you later. See you, Cal, I'm over here. No, you do what you want. I don't care. So they've messed up your whole situation over here and put more doubt into your mind and created more fear around it or whatever. But then they've just dumped you and gone off over here. Anyway, that happens. And that was, I had that in several scenarios. And then you're left going, oh my God, like, you know, they've just ditched me. They've just, you know, like they put a whole thing around it, and now I'm left with this anyway. But again, this is the beauty of how spirit works, because then that will bring up abandonment issues, right? When you trust people, and they just do that sort of stuff. So, and rejection issues that you're clearing. So it's so magical how anyone that shows up in your life, spirit is going to put there, your higher spirit is going to allow that and bring that in, to show you where you need to shine the light on that. They're all shining the light. And because there's actually no free will. We all get caught up in this free will. I was told back in 2015 by the Arcturians, you know, there's no free will, there's only divine will. And I'm like, yeah, sure there is free will. What are you talking about? No, there's no free will. Humans are under the perception that they have free will. It's no free will, it's divine will. Because your soul at the soul level is divine will, and your ego might lead, but as your life unfolds in situations, your soul, your divine will always has the power to override any of that and bring a person in to help you change it and see the light, or put you over here on this path where you're supposed to be instead of that path. There'll always be a continual, your spirit will always, no matter how far you think you've gone off path or blocked your inner work or resisted or held resistance in your body or whatever it is, your spirit, your higher self, and your team of guides that are working with you, your galactic crew, they are always going to create scenarios in your physical reality world to be able to get you back on path, or to show you the light, bring someone in to shine the light. And it might be that you need to go through difficulty with somebody else to wake up to who you really are. You know, you might be in the dark so much, or like, you know, not liking yourself as a person, or some of the things you've done, or judging yourself in guilt, shame, blame of self, all of that. Right? You might be in that energy. You might need someone to come in, and it might be awful shit stuff that you go through, or, you know, to actually show you that, to get you onto your path, like, for you to wake up to who you really are as a spiritual being and your role that you came for on the planet, to really bring you back to yourself. So there's a lot of different ways things play out for our higher self to get us back on track. And it took me a little while to get my head around that there's no free will, there's only divine will. But I kind of got it straight away, like a line straight away. I'm like, yes, that's so true. And I went, okay, how does that work? And then that's a lot of things. Like I did too much trying to analyze, because humans like to analyze everything. You know, they like to try and understand everything. And, you know, how I always say, humans only believe what they see with their human eyes instead of their spiritual eye. Like, instead of really connecting spiritually again to who they are. And when you do, from a much higher, you'll see everything from a much higher perspective and go, yeah, right, that makes sense. Whereas, you know, a lot of humans stay in these low frequencies trying to analyze it all and trying to solve the puzzle and trying to understand it, instead of really just letting that go and just moving into their higher spirit and saying, okay, I'm going to relinquish control, as I've talked about, release that control and let the, you know, let the outcome be what it is. And that's really, oh, okay, right. Sorry, I have to go now, but we can pick this up again if you're interested in hearing more within the age gap connection. Comment underneath and I might do another video. I think I did share enough for you to kind of understand, but if you wanted to talk to me about how to truly try and get out of that situation or that energy, and like I said, I just gave it up. Like, in the end, I felt like I was blocking my divine masculine a lot. I felt like I was blocking him because of all of that stuff. And you know, we can block for many reasons, I suppose. I didn't feel like I was blocking in my heart, but I think because when we still won't accept something, or maybe that's not the right word, I don't really know how to explain it, because I feel it. So for me to put things into words is difficult sometimes, because I just feel it all, and to then have to put that into a narration, you know, it's hard, but for me sometimes. But you just got to feel. I guess that's it. Spirit saying, go more into feeling, not thinking around it. Release all of that shit in your head around it and feel, and then just give it up and say, oh my God, like, I love this person so much. This is my person. I want to do life with this person. I know I'm here to do life with this person. Shit, I know I've been here to do life with this person for goddamn years. So where's my head been, you know, in all this other shit? And this is where you've just got to let it go and let it flow. Let go of the attachment too of the outcome, because, and I know people used to say that to me, and I was like, what does that even mean? Like, how do you do that? But you really can. When you trust. So go further into the trusting the connection, because if you have got all this other stuff going on that I've talked about, it means you don't trust the connection. You don't trust yourself to be in the connection, or you don't trust, it's not so much that you don't trust the love, because it's there, you feel it. It's that maybe it's almost like you don't, because from a human point, you thinking, can I trust to do my role in this job, or something like that, my role in this love, or something. It's that type of energy. It's not trusting the other person, even though people will say you don't trust. It's because when you don't trust them, it's because you're not trusting you. Everything comes back to you, right? If you think they're not ready, you're not ready. If you think they're doing this, you're doing this. If you think they're in a relationship with somebody else and you're not, and you want to blame them, you'll be in a relationship with someone else. I didn't have a third party karmic relationship person to say that I was in a partnership with, but my third party karmic situation was my mum and my daughter, right? Because so it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship or anything like that. It could be a job. It could be somebody that works 70 hours a week in a job and they put their job first. That's their karmic partner, right? And I've said this before. So look at those things. Don't just look and put blame onto somebody else where they are. It's all going to come back to you as well, because it's the energy when you share a consciousness and you're sharing everything, and you're both going to play out and do the same things. And the feminine energy leads. That's the magnetic energy. So last time. So I got to go, guys. I don't even know how long this has been. I've been on here. Don't know. Sorry, don't know. But yeah, if you want to hear any more, put in the comments, and I hope that helps. And if I can think of anything that I maybe should have put in the video that I feel would really help, I might do another one. But just bring it back to you, release and let it go, and let go of the outcome. And just know, and the way you can do that, as I said, is to just know that this is spiritually orchestrated and designed and aligned. And don't try and put a time on it. Let go of timing. Let go of timing. Because once you let go of controlling the timing, like, oh, I want it now, or oh, I don't want my, I read a lot of comments, and I said this once myself, oh, I don't want my twin until I know he's fully healed or whatever. Well, hello, I had to be fully healed too, all this sort of stuff. Guys, don't listen to all of that. That's all in your head, and it's all, you're blocking it yourself, because you got to go deeper and do the work, okay, when you're saying stuff like that. Because again, it's conditional. Remember, look at anything that is conditional and get rid of it. This is unconditional, my friends, my darlings. This is unconditional through and through. So it doesn't matter. You don't put the energy onto your partner, your divine masculine or feminine, by saying he or she needs to be like this before we can be in union, or he or she should do this or shouldn't be doing that. It's all conditional, and it's all judgment. And I can say it because I did it, and that's the energy they feel. Everything is energy, everything. So just saying, just come back to that place. Okay, love you guys. Peace out. Take care. All the rest of it. Have a good day. Bye.